I have a podcast and a YouTube channel, and this Trello board that we're looking at helps me keep track of the episodes and publish on a regular schedule, but the topics are random and a little bit haphazard. I'm kind of doing this on a whim, and whenever I get an idea, I will just move forward with that. The result is lower engagement and less growth overall for the podcast and YouTube channel. The problem is I didn't have a specific content marketing plan. It's literally just random ideas. So I'll explain how to create a content marketing plan in a simple way, and this will work for just about any kind of content: YouTube, podcasts, blogs, newsletters, social media posts, webinars, and so on. For me, I get most out of this with YouTube, podcast, and maybe newsletter ideas, not so much on the blog post because I don't publish as much, but so many of the topics will just transfer over. So in this video, we're going to go over how to get a list of ideas and topics, how you can optimize your efforts by prioritizing these topics, and be sure to stick around so you understand what should be in the plan so that you actually follow through. The target output with this content marketing plan is having a plan that helps you reach your business goals. And it could be more email subscribers, it could be more engagement, it could be more sales calls, more revenue and profit. Most likely, that's what most people are aiming for. You'll want to have specific goals so that you can move forward and understand if you're reaching your goals, but I'll have a little bit of a note on that. And I really prefer systems that help support a goal. Off the bat, we do want to understand what kind of content we're going to be creating. So what is the content going to be? What topics are you going to cover? So these could be like keywords or search queries. And you need to make sure that the topics that you cover actually help you attract the right audience to reach your goal. So you don't want to attract the wrong kind of audience that doesn't actually want to purchase your product, for example. We'll pick a specific example to go over here. It won't be my content marketing plan. It'll just be theoretical, but we can make it pretty closely related. And I know actually a lot of people that are in the niche that we're going to be talking about. And if you're interested in the Trello board that I use for 3 podcasts that I have and YouTube channels, let me know. I can share the template with you. Shoot me an email, doug@nichesiteproject.com, and I can send it over to you so you can make a copy and use it for yourself. And it'll work for really any kind of content. You could use it for blogs, you could use it for YouTube, podcast, any sort of content production, even social media. Here's the example we'll use. It's an internet marketing brand. There is a YouTube channel, there's a podcast, there's a blog, there's a newsletter, there's even social media. This business, this brand earns money from affiliate marketing, it earns money from ads, it earns money from its own digital products as well, and generally talks about online business and promotes online business and side hustles. Number 1, establish the brand as a thought leader in the space. Number 2, get more YouTube views. And number 3, more podcast downloads. Have sort of expectations that line up with reality. So basically, I don't want people to set huge goals and then have very slow progress and then give up, right? That's the worst thing you could do, is give up. So one great thing you can do is declare your goals, but then develop systems to actually support the goals. So I'll make a declaration for this example and just say, we want to grow YouTube views by 50%. We want to grow podcast downloads by 25%. And we want to get higher watch time, for example. So I'll generically sort of declare those. In our case, the systems that can support those is publish 3 videos per week or publish 5 videos per month or whatever works for you. And those systems should, over time, help support and grow your platform and the goals that we mentioned here, but you're focusing more on the execution of the systems. If you have the systems in place, you just keep moving forward and you focus on those, you'll gradually get better. And that's a way to help yourself not get too discouraged. So we want a content plan. We need to have topics and or keywords to focus on. So that's what we're going to look at first. Where do you get these topics from? We're going to use SEMrush for this example. And we're going to go straight to the keyword magic tool and look for side hustle. So we'll hit search here. It'll take just a second to pull up a bunch of different ideas. And there's a lot of information here. Of course, I'm not going to go through a full demo of all this stuff on here, especially on the keyword magic tool, but we can see a couple straightforward things, which I'll explain. So you have the keyword, of course. We have the intent, which could be informational. We do have the search volume here, and that's per month. And this is the keyword difficulty. And the other details we don't care about too much. The SERP features could be important, but in general, we're mostly going to focus on the volume and the keyword difficulty. And there's a couple things that we can do. One, I'm just going to aim for questions here. So you could filter right here, click on that. Now you'll notice a lot of these are quite similar. So we're going to have to filter these later, of course. And you'll notice once I filtered on the questions, the search volume is much lower. And you might be seduced by the high search volumes, but basically the high search volumes have very high competition and are usually more difficult. Lower search volume has less competition, but fewer potential consumers of that content. So it's really a balance. And I do like to start with lower search volumes to gain relevancy in that topic area, and then go to higher search volumes. And you'll see, most of these in the questions filter are informational, which is, a good way to go. So we do have 1,400 keywords here. A lot of them are somewhat duplicated, but what we can do is filter, and we could say, hey, we want to go for easy. So that's a good way to do it right off the bat. Maybe we go up to 29%. So we say we have very easy and easy, but let's look at up to 29 here to fit that range. And you could filter here. And then we'll just look at a couple of them. So how to become a tutor, side hustle. How should I start an LLC for my side hustle? Is Uber Eats a good side hustle? Is real estate a good side hustle? And so on. There's a lot of different ones listed here, and we have it sorted by search volume. So this is great. And what we can do from this point, because we have 29 total here, so not a huge number. So maybe we want to increase it a little bit to get a little bit more of a range here. So we'll go up to 39. And that means there's going to be some that are a little more difficult. And a lot of these will be the higher keyword difficulty. So one thing I would do from here right away is just go ahead and export. So you could export into a CSV or an Excel or whatever. Then you could take it to a spreadsheet where you could filter and look a little bit more closely. So you could actually do a ton of research and take a big test drive with SEMrush on this free 14-day trial. So let's look at another way we can get a lot of other ideas, and that is through competition analysis. So we got a handful of keywords there, but we could also enter in a domain, which I looked up earlier, sidehustleschool.com, and we'll do a search and kind of see what's going on with that. But the thing is, we could actually look at some of the keywords that this website is ranking for, and then work from there. And we could see the site seems to have exploded in the last few months here, but we'll scroll down and check out the organic search keywords here, and we can view the results and view the details here. In a similar way, we're going to be able to export the keywords. So you could sort and do all that stuff. Makes it very straightforward once you pull it over to a spreadsheet section. We got organic, all these keywords here. So these are the organic search positions here. There's 4,000 listed. So that's a little bit long, but I'm going to go ahead and pull these, take a CSV, and then you could take that over to your spreadsheet app. One thing we're not going to be able to go too deep on is just like full on filtering. So one thing I'll show you, I'll just go back to that shorter list right quick. Instead of opening it up in a spreadsheet, I'm just going to talk through it here. But basically what you would need to do is look through each one of the keywords, because eventually we're going to create content around it. So you need to understand your customers or whatever your goal is and whether or not these keywords help you get there. So you need to think about sort of your funnel design and your overall business model. So couple quick things. So we have how to become a tutor, DoorDash. We have Uber Eats. Is that a good side hustle? Is Uber a good side hustle? Is notary a side hustle? Real estate. So one thing I mentioned, this is like a brand that is focusing on online business. So some of these don't fit. DoorDash, Uber, Uber Eats, a notary, real estate, those don't fit for a company, a brand focusing on online side hustles. However, a tutor, that could be online. So tutor is a side hustle. We could do that. AI is a side hustle. Drop shipping, that's an online side hustle. Photography, not so much, right? That is out there in the field. So there's a lot of these that you can kind of throw out because they don't fit in with online marketing. Here's one: is copywriting a good side hustle? That does fit. What is envelope writing side hustle? So I don't even know what that is. So as we go on, you can see some of them just don't fit because they are not online business. So you can narrow it down. Again, I just looked at these short list of 43, but keep that in mind because you need to look through the list and you can sort them and say, this one fits, this one doesn't fit, and go from there. List that you think is good, you've narrowed it down, then there's one thing you could do to go a step further, and that's to actually Google and see what is in the results, and you can go to YouTube as well. So we'll pick one really quick just to have a look and see what's out there. So we could Google, is drop shipping a good side hustle, and see what we come up with here. And what you're looking for is just relevant results that actually fit. It's beyond the scope to go into competition analysis, but we have dropshipping.com, we have Reddit, we have other details on, is dropshipping a good side hustle? So this seems like one that would be relevant. There are other dropshipping topic areas out there. So this is probably a decent one to go after. Again, might be competitive, but it's something that you can take a look at. We looked at that sort of short list of 43, but most likely we would need to go to the large list of 4,000 that we got from that other website. And by the way, you can go and get a lot of competition analysis and then narrow it down, but you're going to end up with thousands and thousands of words. So you'll want to narrow it down. You're going to want to filter out a lot of those keywords so that you're dealing with a manageable number. 500 keywords. You don't even need a list of 100. I would recommend you start with like 10 or 20 or maybe even 50. The thing is, there's going to be a bottleneck with creating the content. You're either going to be writing blog posts or using AI to help you write blog posts, or you're going to be doing videos. Whatever content you're creating, it's going to take you a little while to create it. So you don't need 500 keywords because it's going to take you a really long time to just publish 10 or 20 or 50 articles. So keep that in mind. Get a list and then stop doing research. Get your list of keywords and then stop doing research. Start creating the content. You don't want to get hung up in analysis paralysis. You don't want to get hung up in the research phase without actually executing. So get your 10 or 20 or 30 keywords that you need and then start moving forward. So this is my Trello board, but you could use whatever you want. You could use Asana, you could use a spreadsheet, Post-it notes, you could write it on a napkin. It truly doesn't really matter what format you're using. There's just certain information that you want to have. There's a few pieces of information that you need no matter what format you use. A topic and a title. You need the owner. You need the content type, which could be the same. For example, I usually just have a podcast with a video. So it's the same. But if you have different things, if one thing's a blog post, if something is a social media post, then you should note it as such. You should also have the specific status. So are you writing it? Are you in pre-production? Are you working on the script? Is it done? Is it published? Is it scheduled? That sort of thing. And then the due date. So you couple the big things, right? Owner and due date, especially if you have a team, those are the things you really have to make sure that you take care of. Again, you could use any sort of format to track this. And I for a long time, basically just used a spreadsheet. You can have other information in there. I have created checklists occasionally to make sure everything's done, but over time, I have sort of devolved and I keep it a little bit simpler. So as far as creating the content, you can do it however you want. The main thing I wanted to focus on is like finding the ideas, prioritizing, and using a tool like SEMrush to do that. I will give you a quick alternative before I talk about creating the content. The AI tools are great out there. So you can use something like Claude or ChatGPT or some of the Microsoft products that are out there as well. There's a lot of different options. And you could say, give me 20 topics in a specific topic area. The flaw, of course, is you don't have any visibility into the search volume and you don't have visibility in the difficulty or any other details. So you can get a list of keywords and topics from AI, but it's only a list. It doesn't give you any other additional information. So as far as creating the content, you can create outlines and do research the old school way, use a piece of paper and write it down. You can use AI to get a very, very good outline for whatever your topic is. It could be a video. It could be a podcast or whatever, and you can get a very, very good outline, at least to start from. And I encourage you to do additional research and put in your own thoughts to make sure it's well-rounded. And as far as creating the content I mentioned before, you can do a blog post first and then turn it into a YouTube script. Again, you could use AI. If you are a natural talker and you can create the audio content first, you can maybe create a couple bullet points, record the audio, talk through it. Then you could get a transcript of that. And then you could use an AI tool to turn it into a blog post with subheadings and all the SEO optimization that you need. So thanks to SEMrush for helping me out with this video. If you want 14 days of pro access for SEMrush, be sure to follow my link in the description there. And I am an affiliate, so I would get a commission if you do sign up. And I appreciate it.